They say that to get into heaven, you need only 3 things: faith in God, hope for salvation, and love for your fellow man. Now, I had all 3 of those, or at least I thought I did. But it turns out that I was wrong. It turns out there's another requirement, something that they don't really tell you about until it's too late. They call it the idiot mile. It started when we were just about to board the plane. My wife Lauren was fussing with our 4-year-old daughter Ella, trying to get her to listen and to calm down. Ella wanted to take a stuffed monkey named Mr. Snuggles up with us in the plane, but it wasn't allowed. We'd already put Mr. Snuggles in the overhead bin, and Ella was now throwing a full-on tantrum because she didn't want him up there by himself. "He needs us," she cried. "Mr. Snuggles needs us." I tried reasoning with her. "Honey, he's going to be fine. You can go see him whenever you want." But Ella didn't care. She screamed and kicked and clawed at me, until finally Lauren got her to stop by promising to go get Mr. Snuggles the second we landed. That still didn't stop Ella from crying all the way onto the plane and for most of the flight to Florida. Lauren and I exchanged glances. We couldn't believe how badly she was acting. Usually she was an angel. This whole thing was so out of character that we were starting to worry that something was wrong. Then, right as we were about to land, Lauren's phone lit up. She pulled it out and looked at it. Her face went white as a sheet. "Mike, we have a problem," she said. "My parents just texted. They tested positive for COVID. We can't go stay with them." She hung up and turned back to Ella, who thankfully had stopped crying and was now looking at the clouds out the window. "Hey, sweetie," Lauren said. "Are you still upset about Mr. Snuggles?" Ella nodded, sniffling. "He doesn't like being alone." Lauren forced a smile. "Well, good news, he's coming with us." She turned back to me, eyes wide with fear. "We're gonna have to drive down. There's no way I'm letting Ella stay in a hotel room by herself while we go under quarantine." I knew she was right, but I was still bummed. I really needed this vacation. I'd been working non-stop for months, and I finally had some time to myself. Sure, I would have liked to spend it with my family, but hey, work is work. You can't always choose when it calls. As soon as we landed, Lauren went straight to her parents' house. She called from the car to let them know that we were on our way. Then she pulled into their driveway and parked. And that's when I noticed it. The sign on their lawn that read, "Welcome to the Idiot Mile." Below it was a picture of a little girl holding a stuffed monkey. "What does that mean?" I asked, confused. Lauren sighed. "It's a long story," she said, shaking her head. "Just wait till we get inside." When we walked through the front door, her parents greeted us with big hugs. Their faces fell when they saw Ella, though, and her parents instantly began coughing. "I told you not to come," her mom said, exasperated. "I told you over the phone." "We had to," Lauren replied. "You know, Ella wouldn't be able to handle staying in a hotel room by herself." Her dad shook his head and pointed upstairs. "Go get your stuff from the guest room. We'll talk later." I could tell that they were upset with us, but I figured that it was just because they were sick. So I went upstairs and started unpacking. Later that night, after Ella had gone to bed, Lauren and I sat down at the kitchen table with her parents. I still hadn't gotten over how weird the sign outside had been, so I asked them about it. "What's the Idiot Mile?" I asked. Lauren's parents looked at each other. Her dad finally broke the silence. "This neighborhood," he said, "is known as the Idiot Mile. All the idiot decisions happen here, and yours was the latest." "What do you mean?" I asked. "All the idiot decisions," her mum said, gesturing with her hands. "The ones that people regret but have to live with for the rest of their lives. Coming here is one of them. People move here thinking that they've made it, but then they find out that the American dream isn't as glamorous as they thought it was. Or they fall in love with someone who doesn't love them back. Or they have kids and suddenly realize that they aren't ready for that kind of responsibility. Or they lose their jobs, so they move here thinking that they can start fresh. They make a new identity for themselves, but they bring all their baggage with them. And every day they're reminded of what they left behind. That's why they're here. That's why they're on the Idiot Mile." "So what's the worst decision anyone here has ever made?" I asked. Her dad looked down at his hands. "I think we all know that answer. It's staying here. Once you've made the decision to move to the Idiot Mile, there's no turning back. You're trapped here forever." "But why?" I asked. "Why are you guys here?" Her mom sighed. "We never had a choice. she said. "We were born here, our parents were born here. It's been this way for generations. We're stuck here for life." Lauren looked at her parents and then back at me. I think that's why she threw such a fit about Mr. Snuggles. She knew we were coming here and she wanted to be prepared. "Prepared for what?" I asked. "To be on the idiot mile," Lauren said quietly. "She doesn't want to be alone." I hugged Lauren, and I could feel her trembling. Suddenly, I felt really bad for Ella. Maybe she sensed something was wrong. Maybe she knew what we were in for. Over the next few days, we tried to make the best of our situation. Lauren and I took turns watching Ella so that the other one could get some work done. I emailed my boss and told him I'd be out of the office longer than expected. He didn't say anything, but I could tell that he wasn't happy about it. On the third day, I was watching Ella while Lauren worked from her parents' guest room. She asked me if we could go outside, so I put on sunscreen and bug spray, and we headed to the backyard. There was a tree house up in the branches of a giant oak tree. Ella immediately ran for it. "Can we play in here?" she asked. "Sure," I said, smiling. She climbed up the ladder and disappeared into the treehouse. I stood there for a minute, watching her play. A part of me wished that I could just stay in that treehouse with her forever, but I knew that I couldn't. Then I heard a voice. "Get out!" I turned around and saw a boy standing behind me. He was about 14 years old, and he had a mean look on his face. Sorry," I said. "We're just leaving." The boy crossed his arms and leaned against the tree. "No, you're not. You're staying here now. You're trapped here forever." "What?" I asked, confused. He laughed. "Don't play stupid. You know what this place is. You know what happens here." "Look," I said, "we just moved here. We don't know anything about this place." "Oh, so you're one of those idiots," he said, shaking his head. "You're the same as all the others." Before I could say anything, he climbed up the ladder and disappeared into the treehouse. I felt angry, but mostly I felt helpless. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where I was or why I couldn't leave. I walked back into the house and found Lauren. I told her everything the boy had said. She listened, but she didn't seem surprised. "It's true," she whispered. "This is the idiot mile. And once you're here, you can't escape." "Then what are we going to do?" I asked. Lauren looked at me and smiled sadly. "Nothing," she said. "We're trapped here forever."